rises and the edges sink. Sastra. What are these 6 tremblings of the earth? Answer: the trembling of the earth is lesser, medium and greater. In the lesser trembling of the earth, there are 2 movements. The east rises and the west sinks. Or else the south rises and the north sinks. Or else the edges rise and the center sinks. In the medium trembling, there are 4 movements. In the east, in the west, in the south and in the north. Or again in the east, the west, the edges, and the center. Or again in the south, the north, the edges, and the center. In the greater trembling, all 6 movements appear. There are all kinds of causes for a greater trembling of the earth. Thus the Buddha said to Ananda, there are 8 causes and 8 conditions for a great trembling of the earth, etc. Moreover, some talk about 4 kinds of trembling of the earth. Trembling of fire, trembling of the dragon, trembling of the golden Garuda, trembling of the king of the gods. The moon revolves around the earth in 28 days. If the moon enters one of the 6 following constellations. 1. Mao. Tauri. 2. Chang. Leonis. 3. Ti. Libri. 4. Leo. Arietes. 5. Che. Pegasi. 6. Wei. Arietos. Then at that moment, the earth trembles as if it would collapse. This shaking extends up to the god of fire. Then there is no more rain, the rivers dry up, the year is bad for grain, the emperor is cruel and the great ministers are evil. 2. If the moon enters one of the following 6 constellations. 1. Laia. Hydri. 2. Wei. Scorpiones. 3. Ki. Sagittarii. 4. Pi, Pegasi, Andromedy. 5. Kouei. Piscium. 6. Wei. Delphini. Then at that moment the earth trembles as if it would collapse, and this trembling extends as far as the Nagas. Then there is no more rain, the rivers dry up, the year is bad for grain, the emperor is cruel and the great ministers are unjust. 3. If the moon enters one of the following 6 constellations. 1. Chen. Oriones. 2. Kauai. Cancri. 3. Sing. Leonis. 4. Chin. Corvi. 5. Kaang. Buddhist. 6. Yi. Leonis. Then at that moment the earth trembles as if it would collapse, this trembling extends as far as the Garuda. Then there is no more rain, the rivers dry up, the year is bad for grain, the emperor is cruel and the great ministers are unjust. 4. If the moon enters one of the following 9 constellations. 1. Sin. Scorpiones. 2. Kio. Virginis. 3. Feng. Scorpiones. 4. Niu. Lyri. 5. Hu. Aquarii. 6. Sing. Geminorum. 7. Pi. Tauri. 8. Tsui. Oriones. 9. Tio. Sagittarii. Then at that moment the earth trembles as if it would collapse, and this trembling extends as far as devendra. Then peace is plentiful, rain favors the growth of the 5 grains, the emperor is kind, the great ministers are virtuous and everyone is peaceful. Moreover, among the causes of the trembling of the earth, some are small and others are great. There are some that shake 1 jambudvipa, others 1 caturdvipaka, 1 sahasralokadhatu, 1 dvisahasralokadhatu, or 1 trisahasramahasahasralokadhatu. The small trembling is due to a small cause. When an individual of quality is born or dies, there is a trembling of the local earth. This is the small trembling. The great trembling is due to a great cause. When the Buddha is born, reaches Buddhahood, and is about to enter nirvana, the entire trisahasramahasahasralokadhatu shakes completely. This is the great trembling. Here the Buddha, who wants to gather together all beings, causes the earth to tremble in 6 ways. Moreover, in the Prajnaparamita, the Buddha prophesies to the Bodhisattvas that they will be Buddhas. The Buddha is the great leader of heaven and earth. On learning of the accession of the future Buddhas, the goddess of the earth is filled with joy and says to herself, "I have found a leader." This is why the earth trembles. In the same way, when the leader of a country sets up a minister, the people congratulate him. Everyone shouts hooray! And they sing and dance. Finally, as a result of the merits of the beings of the trisahasramahasahasralokadhatu, there are rivers, trees, and all kinds of things on this earth, but beings are ignorant of their transitory nature. This is why the Buddha, by the power of his merit and his wisdom, shakes this universe so that the beings know the futility of it. Everything will be destroyed and will return to nothingness. Sutra. The earth became soft and gentle so that all beings rejoiced. Sastra. Question. How could a trembling of the earth inspire beings to a joyful mind? Answer. Mind stands in support behind the body. Thus when the body is at ease, the mind is joyful. And so read Ju in place of Yucho. In the person who has fasted has a joyful mind on returning to his normal routine. At present in the trisahasramahasahasralokadhatu, beings with various faults have a coarse mind deprived of wholesome stimuli. This is why the Buddha shakes the great earth so that soft and gentle minds can develop. Thus, when the gods enter the Hao in Lo Yuen, Nandunavana, garden of the king of the Trayastrimsa gods, their minds become soft and gentle, they are joyous, content, and no gross minds arise in them. When the Asuras come with their armies, they feel no aggressive attitudes. But it happens that Chaitipona Min, at the head of an army of gods, enters the Purushyavana and, because this garden, where the trees, flowers, and fruits have an unpleasant smell, is coarse, the army of gods feel aggressive thoughts arising in themselves. It is the same for the Buddha. Since this great earth is coarse and harsh, he transforms it, softens it, and causes all beings to have joyous dispositions. Thus, when certain magical herbs are burned under people's noses, violent feelings are aroused in them and they fight. On the other hand, there is a certain magical herb which inspires joy, happiness, respect, and harmony in people. If a simple magical herb has such power, what can be said of the